Time.
The crisp, biting wind whipped through Jump City, carrying with it the faint, tinny sound of a malfunctioning loudspeaker. Normally, the city's hum was a comforting backdrop, but today, it was punctuated by the shrill cries of panicked citizens. A chaotic scene was unfolding at the Chase Bank downtown. I'm telling you, the interest rates on savings accounts are an outrage, screeched a figure clad in a bizarre snow-white cheerleader uniform, complete with pom-poms that seemed to be made of solidified snow. And don't even get me started on the overdraft fees. She punctuated her rant with a flurry of icy kicks, sending shards of frozen pavement flying. Beside her, a wiry figure with a disturbingly large pencil protruding from his back cackled maniacally. And I'm going to draw up a withdrawal slip for everything.
Okay,
The
whatever.
pencil goblin, as he was apparently known, scribbled furiously on the bank's reinforced glass doors, each stroke leaving deep, gouging marks. Inside the Titan's tower, the alarm blared, its red lights flashing. Trouble at Chase Bank. Cyborg's booming voice echoed through the common room. Snow Cheerleader and Pencil Goblin. Seriously? They are attacking the bank, Starfire exclaimed, her eyes wide with concern. We must go and stop them. Right. Robin barked, already issuing commands. Beast Boy, you're crowd control. Cyborg, you're on shield duty. Starfire, aerial support. I'll handle the strategy. Within
Whatever.
seconds, the Titans were launched. Beast Boy transformed into a massive gorilla, landing with a thunderous thud in front of the fleeing civilians, his sheer size and roar effectively hurting them to safety. Cyborg, his sonic cannons primed, erected a shimmering energy shield, deflecting the Snow Cheerleader's icy projectiles. Starfire, a streak of orange and green soared above the chaos, firing starbolts at the Pencil Goblin, attempting to disrupt his destructive scribbling. Cease your vandalism, fiend, she cried, her voice echoing through the streets. Robin, meanwhile, assessed the situation with his usual intensity. The Snow Cheerleader's attacks were powerful but predictable, focused on brute force and freezing. The Pencil Goblin, however, was unpredictable, his markings creating chaotic distortions in reality. Cyborg, focus on the Goblin, Robin ordered, grappling onto a streetlight and swinging towards the Snow Cheerleader. He's the wild card. The Snow Cheerleader, her face contorted in a frosty rage, launched a blizzard of ice shards at Robin. He dodged and weaved, using his agility to close the distance. A swift kick sent her tumbling, but she quickly recovered, her snow palms crackling with renewed energy. Meanwhile, Cyborg, his focus shifted, fired a concentrated sonic blast at the Pencil Goblin, disrupting his drawing. The goblin shrieked, his pencil skidding across the pavement, leaving a trail of warped reality in its wake. My masterpiece, he wailed, scrambling to retrieve his weapon. Beast Boy, still in gorilla form, roared, attempting to distract the Snow Cheerleader, giving Robin an opening.
There you go.
Robin, seizing the opportunity, unleashed a barrage of birdarangs, one of which struck the Snow Cheerleader's snow palm, shattering it into a cloud of harmless flakes. With her weapon neutralized, the Snow Cheerleader stumbled, her icy rage dissipating. Fine, she muttered, her voice losing its edge. You win. The Pencil Goblin, seeing his ally defeated, attempted to make a hasty escape, but Starfire swooped down, her starbolts forming a glowing net around him. You are not going anywhere, she declared. With both villains apprehended, the Titans regrouped. The bank's facade was a mess, but the vault remained intact. Another day, another bizarre villain thwarted. Cyborg chuckled, shaking his head. Indeed, Robin agreed, his gaze sweeping over the scene. But we must remain vigilant. Who knows what strange threats await us tomorrow? Beast Boy, now back in his human form, grinned. Maybe next time, it'll be a villain who throws pies. That'd be awesome.
No, it wouldn't.
Just as the Titans were about to congratulate themselves and begin the cleanup, a new wave of chaos erupted. A sugary sweet scent filled the air and a figure materialized, shimmering with a pastel pink aura. She looked like a classic Powerpuff Girl, but her dress and pigtails were adorned with sprinkles and frosting. Don't you dare touch them, she shrieked, her voice high-pitched and sugary. They're my friends. Behind her, a hulking figure hopped into view, its skin slick and green, its eyes bulging. It was a humanoid frog, dressed in a tattered trench coat. Ribbit, you will not imprison my comrades, he croaked, his voice surprisingly deep and menacing. A Pop-Tart Powerpuff Girl? Cyborg exclaimed, his eyes widening. And a frogman? What is with these weird villains today?
I don't know, Cyborg.
They're here to rescue their friends, Robin stated, his voice grim. Titans, prepare for battle. The Pop-Tart Powerpuff Girl, with a sugary battle cry, launched a barrage of frosting-laced energy blasts. Starfire, caught off guard by the sheer sweetness of the attack, staggered back, her starbolts fizzling. Such sticky power, she exclaimed, struggling to maintain her flight. The Frogman, meanwhile, leaped towards Cyborg, his powerful legs propelling him through the air. He landed with a resounding thud, sending shockwaves through the ground. "Ribbit, you will feel the wrath of the swamp," he bellowed, his tongue flicking out and attempting to ensnare Cyborg. Beast Boy, transforming into a rhinoceros, charged at the Frogman, attempting to knock him off balance. The Frogman, however, proved surprisingly agile, hopping out of the way and countering with a powerful kick that sent Beast Boy reeling. Robin, meanwhile, engaged the Pop-Tart Powerpuff Girl, dodging her sugary attacks with his usual agility. He noticed that her power was directly related to the amount of frosting and sprinkles on her person. "We need to neutralize her sugar supply," he yelled to the others. Starfire, recovering from the initial sugary assault, focused her starbolts on the Pop-Tart Powerpuff Girl's pigtails, attempting to melt the frosting. The Pop-Tart Powerpuff Girl shrieked as her hair began to melt, her energy blasts weakening. Cyborg, meanwhile, was engaged in a brutal brawl with the Frogman. The Frogman's tongue, despite being sticky, was surprisingly strong, and his kicks were powerful. Cyborg, however, used his sonic cannons to create a disorienting sonic boom, temporarily stunning the Frogman. "Beast Boy, turn into a fly," Robin yelled. "Disrupt her sugar." Beast Boy, quickly transforming into a tiny fly, buzzed around the Pop-Tart Powerpuff Girl, landing on her dress and eating as many sprinkles as he could. The Pop-Tart Powerpuff Girl flailed, her powers faltering. "No, my sprinkles," she wailed. With her sugar supply dwindling, the Pop-Tart Powerpuff Girl's attacks became weaker and less frequent. Starfire, capitalizing on the opportunity, unleashed a concentrated starbolt, completely melting the remaining frosting on her dress. The Frogman, seeing his ally weakened, attempted to retreat, but Cyborg, his sonic cannons recharged, unleashed a powerful blast that sent him crashing into the Snow Cheerleader and Pencil Goblin, who were still bound. "Ribbit, we are defeated," the Frogman croaked, his eyes drooping. The Pop-Tart Powerpuff Girl, now stripped of her sugary power, slumped to the ground, her face streaked with tears. "I just wanted to help my friends," she whimpered.
Aww.
Robin, his expression stern but not unkind, approached her. "We understand," he said. "But you can't break the law to do it. Now we're going to take you and your friends to the authorities." The Titans, with all 4 villains apprehended, finally began the cleanup. The Chase Bank was a mess, but the city was safe once again. "Man, talk about a sugar rush," Beast Boy said, shaking his head. "Indeed," Starfire agreed, her voice laced with a hint of sweetness. "But we have prevailed, as always. And that's what matters," Cyborg added, giving a thumbs up. "Now, who wants pizza?" The Titans, finally emerging from the Chase Bank with their 4 apprehended villains, were met with an unexpected and decidedly chilling sight. The air crackled with opposing energies. Standing before them were 3 new figures, each radiating a distinct and dangerous aura. First, another Powerpuff Girl variant, this one shimmering with an icy blue glow, her pigtails trailing wisps of frost. Second, a Powerpuff Girl counterpart crackling with fiery energy, her dress and pigtails flickering with orange and red flames. And third, a humanoid figure with large compound eyes and translucent wings, a flyman, buzzing with an unsettling energy. "You will release our comrades," the Ice Powerpuff Girl commanded, her voice sharp and brittle. "Or you'll feel the heat," the Fire Powerpuff Girl added, her eyes blazing. "Biz, we will not tolerate this injustice," the flyman buzzed, his wings vibrating ominously. "Seriously?" Cyborg groaned, throwing his hands up in exasperation. "Another wave? We haven't even ordered the pizza yet. Titans, brace yourselves," Robin ordered, his voice tense. "This is getting out of hand." The Ice Powerpuff Girl launched a barrage of ice shards, their edges razor sharp. Starfire, already weakened from the previous sugary assault, struggled to deflect them all. The Fire Powerpuff Girl, meanwhile, unleashed a torrent of flames, forcing Cyborg and Beast Boy to retreat. The Flyman, with his superior aerial maneuverability, darted around Robin, his tiny hands attempting to sting him with a surprisingly potent venom. Robin, dodging and weaving, struggled to land a blow. "They're coordinated," Robin yelled, observing the synchronized attacks. "They're working together." Beast Boy, transforming into a polar bear, charged at the Ice Powerpuff Girl, attempting to overwhelm her with his size and strength. The Ice Powerpuff Girl, however, simply froze his paws to the ground, trapping him. Cyborg, using his sonic cannons, attempted to disrupt the Fire Powerpuff Girl's flames, but she countered with a concentrated blast of heat, overloading his systems. "My circuits are frying," he yelled, his voice distorted. Starfire, despite her exhaustion, focused her remaining energy on the Flyman, firing starbolts at his wings. The Flyman, however, was too agile, dodging her attacks with ease. Robin, realizing they were being overwhelmed, knew they needed a new strategy. "We need to separate them," he yelled. "Divide and conquer." He threw several birdarangs at the Fire Powerpuff Girl, forcing her to focus on defense. Beast Boy, managing to break free from the ice, transformed into a giant eagle, grabbing the Ice Powerpuff Girl and carrying her high into the air. Starfire, focus on the Flyman. Cyborg, help me with the Fire Powerpuff Girl. Robin commanded. Starfire, with renewed determination, unleashed a barrage of starbolts at the Flyman, forcing him to retreat. Cyborg, his systems partially restored, fired a concentrated sonic blast at the Fire Powerpuff Girl, creating a sonic barrier between her and Robin. Robin, seizing the opportunity, engaged the Fire Powerpuff Girl in close combat, using his martial arts skills to exploit her fiery attacks. The Fire Powerpuff Girl, however, was a formidable opponent, her flames scorching the air around them. Beast Boy, carrying the Ice Powerpuff Girl high above the city, dropped her into a large water fountain. The sudden immersion neutralized her icy powers, leaving her shivering and disoriented. The Flyman, seeing his allies weakened, attempted to retreat, but Starfire, her starbolts glowing with renewed intensity, trapped him in a glowing energy net. With the Ice Powerpuff Girl neutralized and the Flyman captured, Robin and Cyborg focused their combined attacks on the Fire Powerpuff Girl. Robin, using his agility, managed to disarm her fiery pigtails, leaving her powerless. "We surrender!" The Fire Powerpuff Girl cried, her voice defeated. The Titans, exhausted but victorious, apprehended the remaining villains. The chase bank was a battleground, but Jump City was safe. "Man, I'm beat," Beast Boy groaned, transforming back into his human form. "But we did it," Starfire said, her voice filled with pride. "We prevailed against overwhelming odds. And now," Cyborg said, his voice regaining its usual booming tone, "we're definitely getting pizza."
Y'all, should I do it? Hold on. Look back at this. Look back at some parts. Dude, I be reading them fast. I be try to catch up with him much as I can. I be catching up with him, but there's a few times I couldn't catch up with him, and this is one of the few times. So like, I look back at it, but I want to look back at it again. If I say if I was drunk, so I'm not drunk. I just want to look at this, to be for real. Okay, I'm gonna look at this now. Should I have War Village, y'all, or leave it alone? Okay, Robin. We're gonna give it some backup before we do that. And Kid. Let's see. Well, I'm just saying.
Attention supermarket shoppers, it's about time to pay everyday low prices, like at Aldi. Increasingly high prices for potatoes.
Yeah, but he's.
That's why they're number one in everyday low prices. It's an Aldi thing.
Okay.
You are about to experience.
Stop it. Stop it.
It is the talk spell.
Oh, that's put it wrong on purpose.
So you didn't know that Phyllis had toxins in her pearl plate, and you just realized paying your
Thank you. Now. There we go.
Robin called Raven and Kid Flash, explaining the chaotic situation at Chase Bank and the arrival of 3 new villains, an Ice Powerpuff Girl, a Fire Powerpuff Girl, and a Flyman. He urged them to come down immediately to help apprehend the villains and restore order. After the pizza arrived, Robin, Cyborg, Starfire, and Beast Boy enjoyed a well-deserved meal, discussing the recent battle and the growing threat of these strange, superhero-themed villains. They agreed to keep a close eye on the city and be prepared for any further challenges. As they finished their pizza, Robin decided to head back to the Titan's tower, leaving Cyborg, Starfire, and Beast Boy to clean up. He called Raven and Kid Flash again, updating them on his location and reassuring them that he was safe. Raven and Kid Flash arrived at the Titan's tower, ready to assist Robin. They found the tower in a state of disarray, the aftermath of the recent battle still evident. They discussed the situation with Robin, sharing their concerns about the growing number of villains and the potential threat they pose to the city. They decided to increase their patrols and surveillance efforts, keeping a close eye on any suspicious activity. They also agreed to work with the authorities, sharing information and coordinating their efforts. As they prepared for the night ahead, they knew that the battle against these strange villains was far from over. But with their combined strength and determination, they were confident that they could protect Jump City and its citizens.
Okay, it's gonna be weird. Y'all gonna be so mad at me. The next day, Robin. Mental Cat Man and a fire okay. Ooh, what teammates? Bet. Y'all gonna hate me. Like, why you keep the Titans to this fire donation to it? I'm a donation to them. If I said that. Well, it just started just like that. I didn't even think about it. I just go with it. I didn't even think about it, to be honest with you. I didn't think about it. Oops.
The next morning, as the Titans, Robin, Cyborg, Starfire, Beast Boy, Raven, and Kid Flash were preparing to transport their captured villains to the Jump City Police Department, a new wave of chaos descended upon them. From the shadows of a nearby alleyway emerged 2 figures, their presence radiating a strange and unsettling energy. First, a humanoid figure, sleek and metallic, with feline features and glowing red eyes. He moved with a predatory grace, his metallic claws glinting in the morning sun. "You will release them," he growled, his voice a low, mechanical purr. "They are my allies." Beside him stood a figure clad in the faded blue uniform of a Goodwill donation attendant. However, this was no ordinary employee. Flames danced around his hands, and his eyes burned with an intense, fiery light. "They are not going anywhere," he declared, his voice crackling with heat. "Not without a fight." "A metal cat man?" Kid Flash exclaimed, his eyes wide. "And a flaming Goodwill guy? What's next? A sentient toaster?"
Hey!
Here to rescue their teammates.
Kid Flash, don't give me ideas. Don't give me ideas, Kid Flash. Don't give me ideas, Kid Flash.
Robin stated, his voice grim. "Titans, prepare for battle." The metal Catman lunged forward, his metallic claws slashing through the air. Cyborg, reacting quickly, raised his sonic cannons, firing a barrage of energy blasts. The metal Catman, however, was surprisingly agile, dodging the blasts and closing the distance. The Fire Goodwill attendant unleashed a torrent of flames, engulfing Starfire and Beast Boy. Starfire, her own fiery powers weakened from the previous day's battles, struggled to contain the inferno. Beast Boy, transforming into a fire-resistant armadillo, rolled into a defensive ball, shielding himself from the flames. Raven, her eyes glowing with dark energy, attempted to contain the Metal Catman with her telekinetic powers. The Metal Catman, however, was surprisingly resistant, his metallic body deflecting her energy. Kid Flash, using his super speed, zipped around the Fire Goodwill attendant, attempting to disorient him. The Fire Goodwill attendant, however, was quick to react, unleashing a wave of heat that forced Kid Flash to retreat. Robin, observing the chaotic scene, realized they were once again facing a coordinated attack. "We need to separate them," he yelled. "Focus on the Goodwill attendant. He's the more volatile one." Cyborg, shifting his focus, fired a concentrated sonic blast at the Fire Goodwill attendant, disrupting his flames. Raven, seizing the opportunity, unleashed a wave of dark energy, attempting to bind him. Kid Flash, using his speed, created a whirlwind of air around the Fire Goodwill attendant, attempting to extinguish his flames. Beast Boy, transforming into a large water buffalo, charged towards the fire villain and doused him with water. The Metal Catman, seeing his ally weakened, attempted to intervene, but Robin engaged him in close combat, using his martial arts skills to exploit his metallic defenses. The Metal Catman's claws were sharp and deadly, but Robin's agility and strategic attacks kept him at bay. Starfire, recovering from the initial fiery assault, joined the others in attacking the Fire Goodwill attendant. Her starbolts, now recharged, were more effective, weakening his fiery powers. With their combined efforts, the Titans managed to subdue the Fire Goodwill attendant, extinguishing his flames and binding him with Raven's telekinetic energy. The Metal Catman, seeing his ally defeated, attempted to retreat, but Cyborg, using his grappling hook, ensnared him, pulling him back into the fray. Robin, capitalizing on the opportunity, unleashed a barrage of birdarangs, disabling the Metal Catman's metallic claws. "We surrender," the Metal Catman growled, his voice laced with defeat. The Titans, exhausted but victorious, apprehended the two new villains. The captured villains were finally secured and ready to be transported. "Man, these guys just keep coming," Kid Flash said, shaking his head. "It's like they're having a villain convention." "Indeed," Raven agreed, her voice monotone. "But we have prevailed once again. And now," Cyborg said, his voice regaining its usual booming tone, "we're definitely taking these guys to jail."
Well, kept giving me an idea a little earlier, so I don't know. A toaster Powerpuff Girl or a toaster man, a toaster octopus? What do I do, guys? A glass woman? What do I do?
She got upset and told me that you set the whole damn family back.
Just as they...
Especially a white and interesting girl that you like.
Could you help sneak me in, Ash?
Are you hot over there? Don't worry.
Totally freaked out when I told him I was pregnant.
Be
I hate when my parents freak out.
power.
Come on, y'all take a chill pill. What did you just say?
How far along are you? I'm 12 weeks, which makes me nervous because I'll be showing soon. I'm a little nervous about the kids.
Ooh.
I'm gonna say you're pregnant.
Teammates. It be Power Ranger. Oh, y'all hate me. In the comments. Well, I don't care. A bee Power Ranger and an ice Kroger bagger.
Just as the Titans were about to load their captured villains into the awaiting police transport, a new and bizarre threat materialized. The air grew noticeably colder, and a gust of icy wind swept through the street. Standing before them were two new figures, each radiating a strange and unsettling energy. One was a figure clad in the familiar blue apron of a Kroger bagger, but his hands crackled with icy energy, and his eyes gleamed with a frosty determination. He held a crumpled Kroger bag, now frozen solid, like a makeshift weapon. Beside him stood a figure clad in a yellow and black suit, reminiscent of a Power Ranger, but with the distinct markings of a bee. His helmet featured large, compound eyes, and his hands were equipped with stingers. "You will not take our comrades," he buzzed, his voice a distorted mechanical drone. "We are here to liberate them." "An ice Kroger bagger?" Kid Flash sputtered, his eyes wide. "And a bee Power Ranger? This is getting ridiculous.
Thank
They're
you.
here to rescue their friends," Robin stated, his voice grim. "Titans, brace yourselves. we're not letting them escape. The Ice Kroger bagger launched a barrage of frozen grocery items, frozen peas, ice cream cartons, and even a frozen turkey at Cyborg and Starfire. Starfire, her own energy reserves depleted, struggled to deflect the icy projectiles. Cyborg, however, used his sonic cannons to create a sonic barrier, deflecting the frozen onslaught. The Bee Power Ranger, meanwhile, buzzed towards Robin and Kid Flash, his stingers extended. He moved with surprising agility, his movements erratic and unpredictable. Robin, using his martial arts skills, attempted to anticipate his attacks, while Kid Flash used his speed to create a whirlwind of confusion. Raven, her eyes glowing with dark energy, attempted to contain the Ice Kroger bagger with her telekinetic powers. The Ice Kroger bagger, however, used his icy powers to create a slippery barrier, deflecting her energy. Beast Boy, transforming into a bear, charged at the Bee Power Ranger, attempting to overwhelm him with his size and strength. The Bee Power Ranger, however, used his stingers to deliver a series of painful stings, forcing Beast Boy to retreat. They're coordinated, Robin yelled, his voice strained. They're using their environment to their advantage. Cyborg, analyzing the Ice Kroger bagger's attacks, noticed that he was drawing energy from the surrounding cold air. We need to neutralize his cold source, he yelled. Kid Flash, using his speed, zipped around the Bee Power Ranger, attempting to disarm him. He managed to grab one of the stingers, but the Bee Power Ranger quickly retaliated with a powerful sting to Kid Flash's leg.
Ooh.
Starfire, recovering from the initial icy assault, focused her starbolts on the Ice Kroger bagger's frozen Kroger bag, attempting to melt it. The Ice Kroger bagger, however, simply created a new bag out of thin air, his powers seemingly limitless. Robin, realizing they were being overwhelmed, knew they needed a new strategy. Raven, focus on the Bee Power Ranger, he yelled. Cyborg, help me with the Kroger bagger. Raven, her eyes glowing with dark energy, unleashed a wave of telekinetic force, attempting to disrupt the Bee Power Ranger's flight. Cyborg, meanwhile, fired a concentrated sonic blast at the Ice Kroger bagger, attempting to disrupt his icy powers. Robin, using his agility, attempted to disarm the Kroger bagger. Beast Boy, transforming into a hummingbird, buzzed around the Bee Power Ranger, distracting him and making him miss strikes. With their combined efforts, the Titans managed to subdue the Bee Power Ranger, trapping him in Raven's telekinetic grip. Cyborg, using his sonic cannons, managed to disrupt the Ice Kroger bagger's icy powers, causing his frozen Kroger bag to melt. We surrender, the Ice Kroger bagger cried, his voice defeated. The Titans, exhausted but victorious, apprehended the two new villains. The captured villains were finally secured and ready to be transported. Seriously, guys, Kid Flash said, shaking his head. This is getting out of control. We need to figure out who's sending these guys. Indeed, Raven agreed, her voice monotone. But for now, we must focus on delivering these criminals to justice. And then, Cyborg said, his voice regaining its usual booming tone, we're definitely getting some answers.
Who keeps sending them? It's me. Y'all gonna fight me? Ooh, a Judge Judy knockoff and a Roku controller robot. Ooh, let's get this started. I would give them a break. Go on the next 4 months. The Titans had days in Jump City. They still had
it was disrespectful, and you had the nerve to do it in her face.
I've been in this comic game since I was 19 years old. I ain't got to spit a damn thing. Just get your ass on the bus and keep your mouth shut. You hear me? They know I would crush your sister's career like a cockroach that come out when you got company.
I want the Titans. I would say let the 4 months. I want the Titans to relax for about a while. Let the Titans relax for a while, not Bile. Bile, Tile, Kyle, Riles, and listen to him, but Tile. But yeah, I want the Titans to relax for a while. They had crazy battles, you know.
The next 4 months in Jump City were remarkably peaceful. The frantic pace of the previous encounters slowed to a crawl, and the Titans found themselves enjoying a period of relative calm. No new bizarre villains emerged, and the city's usual petty crimes were easily handled. They took full advantage of the downtime. Beast Boy, ever the entertainer, organized elaborate game nights in the Titans Tower, complete with themed snacks and chaotic competitions. Starfire explored the city's cultural offerings, attending every festival and trying every new food stall. Cyborg spent countless hours tinkering with his systems, upgrading his armor, and developing new gadgets. Robin, while still vigilant, allowed himself to relax, spending more time training with his team and less time poring over crime reports. Raven, always the introspective one, immersed herself in her books and meditations, finding a sense of tranquility in the quiet. Kid Flash, always moving, explored every inch of Jump City, and sometimes other cities, enjoying the speed. They still discussed the mystery of the themed villains, but with no new leads, the investigation stalled. They checked security footage, interviewed witnesses, and even consulted with the Jump City Police Department. But they found no connection between the villains, no shared hideout, and no indication of who was behind it all. The peaceful period was a welcome respite, but a nagging sense of unease lingered. They couldn't shake the feeling that the calm was temporary, a mere lull before the storm. They knew that whoever was behind the attacks was still out there, biding their time. One sunny afternoon, as they were enjoying a rare moment of complete relaxation on the tower's rooftop, Cyborg broke the silence. "You know," he said, his voice thoughtful, "it's kinda weird, isn't it? 4 months of nothing?" "Indeed," Starfire agreed, tilting her head. "It is as if the chaos has simply vanished. Too quiet," Robin muttered, his gaze scanning the horizon. "Way too quiet. Maybe they gave up?" Beast Boy suggested, his voice hopeful. "Maybe they realized we're too awesome for them?" Raven, however, remained silent, her expression unreadable. She sensed a shift in the air, a subtle change in the energy that surrounded them. Something was coming. Kid Flash, ever alert, looked off into the distance. "I don't know, guys," he said. "I'm getting a weird vibe."
Well, put hey Gemini, what do you rate my creativity?
There's nothing going on, Pops. You should hit the hay. You'll be busted.
Yeah, there's nothing going on. Remember, you put me in charge? Boring old Janelle.
Yeah, Dad. Go to bed.
All right, fine. But don't be screaming about no Freddy Krueger and wake me up. Because I'm gonna summon that little chunky dog, and I'm gonna sick him on all y'all.
Hey, Dad said he gonna sick Chucky on us. Daddy, you crazy?
You've shown a really fun and imaginative approach to creating villains. Here's a breakdown of what I find particularly creative about your villain concepts. Absurdity and humor. You've leaned into the inherently quirky and sometimes ridiculous nature of superhero comics. The Pop-Tart Powerpuff Girl, Ice Kroger Bagger, and Fire Goodwill Donation Attendant are perfect examples of this. They're unexpected and inject a sense of humor into the action. This absurdity works well with the Teen Titans, a team that often deals with bizarre and over-the-top threats. Everyday objects and concepts. You're drawing inspiration from everyday things. Grocery stores, donation centers, even snack foods, and twisting them into villainous forms. This is a clever way to make the villains feel both relatable and strange. It also creates a sense of anything can be a threat, which adds to the suspense. Power variations. You're not just creating generic villains. You're giving them unique and varied powers. The Powerpuff Girl variations with ice, fire, and sugary powers are a great example of this. Also the way that the powers are related to the character, like the Ice Kroger Bagger, using frozen food as projectiles. Building on existing tropes, you're playing with familiar superhero tropes, like Power Rangers and Powerpuff Girls, and putting your own spin on them. This creates a sense of familiarity while still being original. Overall, I'd rate your creativity very highly. You have a knack for coming up with memorable and entertaining villain concepts. Here are a few things that contribute to creative thinking in this way. Thinking outside the box. You're not afraid to go beyond typical villain archetypes. Making connections. You're finding connections between seemingly unrelated things, like grocery stores and supervillains. Having fun. Your enthusiasm for creating these villains shines through, which is a key ingredient in creativity. Keep up the imaginative work.
Lobby has hundreds of incredible. Just check out our weekly ad to discover unbelievable.
If we were to assign a grade, I'd give you an A- or a solid A. Here's why. Excellent creativity. As I mentioned before, your concepts are highly original and entertaining. Strong storytelling potential. Your villain ideas could easily be woven into engaging storylines. Consistent theme. You've maintained a consistent theme of bizarre, everyday object-inspired villains. The slight deduction, if any, would only be for the fact that, to become a perfect A+, the story would benefit from a more developed overarching plot. As in, who is sending these villains, and why? That would be the element that would take your creative ideas and turn them into a full-fledged story. But as far as the raw creation of the villains themselves, you've done a fantastic job.
Now, if you'll excuse me,
Thanks.
I'm on my way. Don't talk to her before every show. I'm off my game. Lord,
You're very welcome. I'm glad I could provide some helpful feedback. Keep creating.
And you're not very nice too, by the way, guys. All right, guys, make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe, and have a good day, y'all. Bye. More to the story, because this is continuing off with the other story.
The tranquility of the past 4 months shattered with a resounding thump against the Titan's tower door. It wasn't a casual knock. It was a forceful, demanding strike that echoed through the common room. Cyborg, ever vigilant, approached the door, his optical sensors scanning the peephole. What he saw made his metallic jaw drop. Guys, he announced, his voice laced with disbelief. We've got company. And it's something. Robin, Starfire, Beast Boy, Raven, and Kid Flash gathered behind him, their expressions a mix of curiosity and apprehension. Who is it, Cyborg? Robin asked, his voice sharp. Take a look for yourselves, Cyborg replied, stepping aside. One by one, the Titans peered through the peephole, their reactions ranging from bewildered silence to outright laughter. Standing on the doorstep were 3 figures, each more bizarre than the last. A Princess Power Ranger. Clad in a shimmering pink and gold suit, complete with a tiara-like helmet, she radiated an aura of regal authority. However, her stance was anything but graceful. She was poised like a warrior. A Duck Knight, a humanoid duck, wearing shining armor, complete with a feathered helmet and a miniature lance. He quacked impatiently, tapping his webbed foot. A milk metal dog, a robotic dog, its body constructed from what appeared to be polished stainless steel, with milk cartons for its main body. It growled, a low, metallic rumble, and its eyes glowed with a milky white light. A Princess Power Ranger? Kid Flash exclaimed, bursting into laughter. Seriously? And a Duck Knight? What in the world? And a milk metal dog? Beast Boy added, scratching his head. I have so many questions. They are here to cause trouble, Raven stated, her voice flat. That much is clear. Robin, his expression grim, stepped forward. Titans, prepare for battle. These are obviously here to continue the attacks. We can't let them in. But what if they just want to sell us Girl Scout cookies? Beast Boy asked, before Robin gave him a very hard stare. Titans go, Robin said, and the Titans prepared to engage.
Cheats on Minecraft. Hopefully he doesn't cheat on his future girlfriends. That would be bad.
Okay, fine.
They're
I have to do more tests on your security surveillance.
Dang, they got him on lockdown now.
Actually, do it.
still they're with the other crowd, with the other people I created earlier.
The Titans, now fully prepared, braced themselves as the Princess Power Ranger, Duck Knight, and Milk Metal Dog launched their assault. The Princess Power Ranger, despite her regal appearance, was a fierce combatant. She unleashed a series of energy blasts from her tiara, each shot shimmering with pink energy. Starfire, her starbolts charged, met the blasts head-on, creating a dazzling display of light and energy. The Duck Knight, with a battle cry that sounded like a series of honking quacks, charged forward, his miniature lance aimed at Cyborg. Cyborg, his sonic cannons primed, fired a blast of sonic energy, attempting to disrupt the Duck Knight's charge. The Duck Knight, however, proved surprisingly agile, dodging the blast and closing the distance. The Milk Metal Dog, its metallic growl echoing through the tower's entrance, lunged at Beast Boy and Kid Flash, its milk carton body slamming into them with surprising force. Beast Boy, transforming into a gorilla, attempted to grapple with the robotic dog, while Kid Flash used his speed to zip around it, attempting to disorient it. Robin, observing the chaotic scene, focused his attention on the Princess Power Ranger, attempting to find a weakness in her energy-based attacks. He noticed that her energy blasts were concentrated in her tiara, suggesting that it was the source of her power. Raven, her eyes glowing with dark energy, attempted to contain the Duck Knight with her telekinetic powers. The Duck Knight, however, used his lance to deflect her energy, his movements precise and efficient. They're coordinated, Robin yelled, his voice strained. They're working together to overwhelm us. Starfire, realizing that her starbolts were ineffective against the Princess Power Ranger's energy blasts, shifted her strategy. She focused her energy on the tiara, attempting to overload it with starbolts. The Princess Power Ranger, however, anticipated her move, creating an energy shield around her tiara. Cyborg, engaged in a close-quarters brawl with the Duck Knight, used his sonic cannons to create a disorienting sonic boom, temporarily stunning the armored duck. He then used his grappling hook to ensnare the Duck Knight's lance, pulling him off balance. Beast Boy, still grappling with the milk metal dog, noticed that its milk carton body was vulnerable to physical attacks. He transformed into a rhinoceros, charging at the robotic dog and ramming it with his horn. The milk metal dog's milk carton body crumpled under the impact, spilling a milky white liquid. Kid Flash, using his speed, zipped around the milk metal dog, attempting to disrupt its movements. He noticed that the milky white liquid was sticky and corrosive, suggesting that it was some kind of weaponized milk. Robin, seeing an opportunity, threw several birdarangs at the Princess Power Ranger's tiara, attempting to disrupt her energy shield. The birdarangs, however, were deflected by the shield. Raven, seeing the Duck Knight momentarily stunned, unleashed a wave of dark energy, binding him in place. With the Duck Knight and Milk Metal Dog neutralized, the Titans focused their combined attacks on the Princess Power Ranger. Starfire, her starbolts charged, unleashed a concentrated blast at her tiara, overloading her energy shield. Robin, seizing the opportunity, threw a net of energy dampeners, which stuck to the Princess Power Ranger's suit, and stopped her energy attacks. "We surrender!" the Princess Power Ranger cried, her voice defeated. The Titans, exhausted but victorious, apprehended the three new villains. The Milk Metal Dog was leaking a white substance that was being contained by Cyborg. "Man, these guys are getting weirder and weirder," Kid Flash said, shaking his head. "Indeed," Raven agreed, her voice monotone. "But we have prevailed once again. And now," Cyborg said, his voice regaining its usual booming tone, "we're definitely getting some answers, and maybe some milk to clean this up."
Okay, let's see what I do now. What can I do? What can I do now? A panda. Well, in a evil.
He's hired him. That's his little worker now.
And Jaden, make sure to give me a PB&J, okay? No fuss. Hey guys, we'll be. I'll be right back.
And mud.
I'm not making it. He wants to do it. Between the three of us,
And
people watching,
a
that I'm the one.
bird man shows up to free their
Right? Oh, yeah, I'm paying him. I get paid.
no. I'll get a picture.
That's not right. You're making money by pretending to be your little brother. So, what if I am? It's not illegal.
I mean, that is true. It's not illegal.
What's wrong with it? You're still misleading people. You know, you're pretending to be something new.
What the freak is this? Okay.
Mommy, what would you go with him again?
Battle for Jump City. The Titans had just apprehended the Princess Power Ranger, the Duck Knight, and the Milk Metal Dog, and were about to transport them to the police station when a new wave of chaos erupted. The air crackled with a strange energy, and three new figures materialized, each radiating a unique and unsettling aura. First, a hulking figure emerged, clad in a black and white suit, its face obscured by a mask. This was the Panda Power Ranger, a formidable warrior with the strength of a panda and the agility of a martial artist. It roared, a sound that shook the very foundations of the Titan's tower. Next, a shadowy figure materialized from the depths of a nearby alleyway. This was the evil YouTuber, a master of darkness with the power to control shadows and mud. He cackled maniacally, his voice distorted and echoing through the streets. Finally, a figure descended from the sky, its feathered wings beating rhythmically. This was the Birdman, a creature of the air with the power to control the wind and weather. He squawked menacingly, his eyes gleaming with a predatory glint. "You will not take our comrades," the Panda Power Ranger roared, its voice echoing through the streets. "We will free them," the evil YouTuber cackled, his voice distorted and echoing through the streets. "They are ours," the Birdman squawked, his voice echoing through the streets. The Titans braced themselves for the onslaught, their eyes narrowed with determination. They knew that this was going to be a battle like no other.
Fight begins. The Power Rangers, Pop-Up Girls, the evil YouTuber. I'm being very creative with all this stuff. Ooh, next the evil Facebooker and the Lightning McQueen Power Ranger. Maybe.
The battle began with a cacophony of sound and fury. The Panda Power Ranger charged forward, its powerful limbs pounding the ground. Cyborg, his sonic cannons primed, unleashed a barrage of energy blasts, but the Panda Power Ranger deflected them with surprising agility, its movements fluid and graceful. The evil YouTuber, shrouded in shadows, cackled as he manipulated the very environment around the Titans. Patches of mud erupted from the ground, attempting to ensnare their feet, while tendrils of darkness lashed out, seeking to bind them. Raven, her eyes glowing with dark energy, countered his attacks, her telekinetic powers clashing with his shadowy manipulations. The Birdman swooped down from the sky, its wings creating a powerful gust of wind that threatened to knock the Titans off their feet. Starfire, her starbolts charged, engaged the Birdman in aerial combat, her fiery energy clashing with his wind-based attacks. Robin, ever the strategist, observed the chaotic scene, seeking a weakness in the villain's coordinated assault. He noticed that the Panda Power Ranger relied on brute strength, the evil YouTuber on manipulation, and the Birdman on aerial superiority. He knew that the Titans needed to disrupt their synergy to gain the upper hand. Kid Flash, using his super speed, zipped around the battlefield, attempting to disorient the villains and create openings for his teammates. He focused on the evil YouTuber, disrupting his concentration and preventing him from fully controlling the shadows and mud. Beast Boy, transforming into a gorilla, charged at the Panda Power Ranger, attempting to overwhelm it with his size and strength. The Panda Power Ranger, however, was a skilled martial artist, its movements precise and powerful, countering Beast Boy's brute force with finesse. Cyborg, seeing an opportunity, fired a concentrated sonic blast at the Panda Power Ranger, disrupting its balance and creating an opening for Beast Boy. Beast Boy, seizing the opportunity, unleashed a powerful blow, sending the Panda Power Ranger reeling. Starfire, engaged in a fierce aerial battle with the Birdman, noticed that its wings were its primary source of power. She focused her starbolts on its wings, attempting to damage them and limit its flight capabilities. Raven, battling the evil YouTuber, used her telekinetic powers to create a barrier of energy, preventing him from manipulating the environment around her. She then unleashed a wave of dark energy, attempting to bind him and neutralize his powers. With the Panda Power Ranger weakened, the evil YouTuber contained, and the Birdman's wings damaged, the Titans began to gain the upper hand. They pressed their advantage, their coordinated attacks, overwhelming the villains. The Panda Power Ranger, its strength waning, was eventually subdued by Beast Boy and Cyborg. The evil YouTuber, his powers neutralized by Raven, was captured and bound. The Birdman, its wings damaged, was forced to land and was quickly apprehended by Starfire and Kid Flash. Exhausted but victorious, the Titans stood over their defeated foes. Another day, another victory, Robin said, his voice filled with pride. But who is sending these villains? Starfire asked, her brow furrowed with concern. And why are they attacking us? Those are questions we need to answer, Cyborg replied, his voice grim. But for now, let's get these guys to jail.
Okay. The 4 months were great, but gotta add more. Okay, y'all. What should I do now? Okay. This commercial distracting me.
Listen, man, the thing is,
I understand.
understandable.
Dang, I feel bad for his brother. You gotta leave him.
Look, you come up from the car, alright? Look, this is our shit.
Ugh.
I be up there with
Yes,
you.
yep, that is true.
This falls under my category. I do all the time, remember?
Dang.
Yeah, but it's bugging all the team. We are, but I'm gonna hurt you. You're gonna be...
Why doesn't he just tell him the truth? I feel like it'd just be easier that way.
What if I don't want to be behind the scenes? Die. All you do is play video games. Everyone else wants to make
So, Robin.
in order to be in front of the camera, you gotta have personality.
This is personality? That's all you need? What?
$20
No.
people.
Look for them?
Yes, sir. And I'm looking for an up-and-coming influencer to test out some of our new products and do some promos.
Okay, nice.
I'm your guy. I love my guy.
So I've heard. Your skills. Great resource for us. I'm sorry about me.
Well, it's not really his skills.
Catch you later, buddy.
Other.
You ready?
Yeah, let's go. And now, the moment we have all
Mikey!
our up-and-coming streamer of the year, Minecraft Mikey. What's up, everyone?
Oh, wait, they actually did. Wait a second. They said they weren't gonna go. Look, they're right here. Boom, boom, boom. And they don't look happy at all.
Thanks for coming, Minecraft Mikey. Oh, okay. So, you have been blowing up lately. And I heard that you've only been live streaming for about a month.
It's a month and he blew up like.
Well, we've been sending
Yeah, let's hear the secret.
these
I have to say, my biggest secret is
weird.
His brother. Is he gonna say that?
I also put nothing on it. Mommy, can't resist what you mean, alright?
Whew, that's a long sentence, y'all. Very long, I know, very long.
Well, let's just say I knew it was something.
Gemini, come on.
Well,
Okay.
surprise for you. And for
That's-
all of us right now. I do love surprises. Bring it in.
What's the surprise? A brand new car?
Okay.
Now, this is no ordinary week.
Whew. A lot to write. I wrote so much, y'all.
Even his brother's like, it's not a good idea.
9 months had passed since the last bizarre encounter. 9 months of tense peace, where the Titans patrolled Jump City with a heightened awareness, always expecting another strange villain to appear. But the attacks never came. Instead, Robin, ever the detective, had been meticulously piecing together clues, following digital trails, and analyzing the patterns of the attacks. Finally, he had a lead. He gathered the Titans in the ops room, the holographic display illuminating their faces with an eerie glow. Titans, he began, his voice serious. We finally have a breakthrough. I know who's been behind these attacks. A wave of surprise and anticipation washed over the team. Who is it, Robin? Cyborg asked, leaning forward. It's... Robin paused for dramatic effect. The Curator. The name hung in the air, unfamiliar and ominous. The Curator? Starfire tilted her head. Who is this Curator? He's a collector, Robin explained, tapping on the holographic display to bring up an image of a shadowy figure in an elaborate, almost theatrical, purple suit with a mask that resembled a blank canvas. He collects oddities, rare artifacts, strange creatures, and apparently themed villains. But why? Beast Boy questioned, his brow furrowed. What's the point? He wants to create the ultimate collection, Robin explained. A collection that showcases the diversity and absurdity of the universe. And he sees us, the Teen Titans, as the ultimate challenge, the ultimate test for his collection. So he's been sending these villains to test us? Raven asked, her voice flat. Exactly, Robin confirmed. He wants to see if we're worthy of being part of his collection. Well, he's got another thing coming, Cyborg declared, his fists clenching. We're not going to be part of anyone's collection. This is beyond anything we've faced before, Robin said, his expression grim. We're going to need help. He turned to the comms console and activated a secure channel. Batgirl, Blue Beetle, Bumblebee, Superboy, Aqualad, his voice echoed through the speakers. We need your assistance. The Curator is a threat unlike any we've encountered. We need to stop him before he adds us to his collection. On the other end of the line, 5 voices responded, each filled with determination and a willingness to help. The Titans weren't alone in this fight. A new team was forming, ready to take on the Curator and his bizarre collection of villains.
Oh, go on with the story. Okay. This is the best story of all time I ever wrote. This is the best one. Well, Gemini both came out with it, but his storytelling skills and my great typing skills.
The next few days were a flurry of activity. Batgirl, Blue Beetle, Bumblebee, Superboy, and Aqualad arrived at Titan's Tower, their presence bringing a renewed sense of purpose. Robin briefed them on the Curator, his obsession with collecting, and the strange villains he had been sending. He emphasized the importance of teamwork and coordination, as the Curator's tactics were unpredictable and varied. He's like a twisted museum curator, Batgirl observed, her eyes scanning the holographic display of the Curator's image. But instead of paintings and sculptures, he collects living exhibits. And we're his next exhibit, Superboy added, his voice laced with a hint of defiance. That's not happening. We need to find his base of operations, Blue Beetle said, his scarab scanning for any traces of energy signatures. If we can locate him, we can stop him before he sends any more of his creations. Raven, using her empathic abilities, attempted to sense the Curator's presence, but his mind was shrouded in a veil of darkness, making it impossible to pinpoint his location. He is well protected, she reported, her voice low. His thoughts are like a maze. We'll have to rely on more traditional methods, Robin said, pulling up a map of Jump City and its surrounding areas. We'll divide into teams and search for any clues, any leads. We'll start with the locations where the villains were first sighted. They might lead us to his hideout. The teams were formed. Robin and Batgirl, focusing on investigative work. Cyborg and Blue Beetle, utilizing their technological expertise. Starfire and Superboy, covering aerial searches. Beast Boy and Bumblebee, focusing on ground-level reconnaissance. And Raven and Aqualad, using their unique abilities to track any magical or underwater traces. Days turned into nights as the teams scoured Jump City and its surroundings. They followed every lead, analyzed every clue, but the Curator remained elusive. Then, a breakthrough. Cyborg and Blue Beetle, while analyzing the energy signatures from the captured villains, discovered a faint, recurring signal emanating from an abandoned theater on the outskirts of the city. It's a low-frequency pulse, Cyborg reported, his voice excited. It's barely detectable, but it's definitely there. The theater, Robin said, his eyes narrowing. It could be his base of operations. Let's check it out,
Yeah.
Superboy said, his voice eager. I'm ready to put an end to this. The Titans and their allies converged on the abandoned theater, their senses heightened, their weapons primed. The theater was dark and silent, its once grand facade now crumbling and overgrown with weeds. As they entered the theater, they were met with an eerie stillness. The air was thick with the scent of dust and decay. The stage was bare, the seats empty, and the only sound was the creaking of the old building. Suddenly, the lights flickered on, illuminating the stage. A figure stood in the center, his back to them. He turned slowly, revealing the Curator. "Welcome," he said, his voice a low, theatrical drawl. "I've been expecting you."
Go on, bro.
Will you pretend to be someone you're not?
You can find out.
Go ahead, sit on your villains. We're not scared. Well, I'm not a superhero, but
The Curator, standing in the center of the dilapidated stage, exuded an air of theatrical menace. His purple suit shimmered in the harsh stage lights, and his blank canvas mask reflected the light, creating an unsettling, featureless stare. "You found my humble abode," he said, his voice echoing through the empty theater. "I must admit, I'm impressed. You've proven to be quite the intriguing subjects." "We're not subjects," Robin retorted, his voice hard. "We're here to stop you." "Stop me?" The Curator chuckled. A low, unsettling sound. "But my collection is far from complete. You, the Teen Titans, are the centerpiece. The grand finale." He gestured towards the darkened wings of the stage. "Behold my gallery." The stage lights dimmed, and holographic projections flickered to life, displaying images of the captured villains. The Snow Cheerleader, the Pencil Goblin, the Pop-Tart Powerpuff Girl, the Frogman, and all the others were displayed like exhibits in a museum. Each one a unique specimen, the Curator said, his voice filled with pride. Each one a testament to the boundless creativity of the universe. "They're not specimens," Starfire said, her voice filled with anger. "They're people. You've turned them into prisoners." "Prisoners?" The Curator raised an eyebrow. "No, my dear. They are residents. They are part of a grander design." "Your design ends here," Superboy declared, his fists clenching. The Curator smiled, a chilling, unseen expression behind his mask. "Very well. Let the exhibition begin." He snapped his fingers, and the theater erupted in chaos. The holographic projections vanished, replaced by the real villains, freed from their containment. They swarmed the stage, their eyes glowing with a strange hypnotic light. The battle began. The Titans and their allies engaged the villains, each team facing a familiar foe. Robin and Batgirl fought the Snow Cheerleader and the Pencil Goblin, their combined skills matching the villains' erratic attacks. Cyborg and Blue Beetle battled the Milk Metal Dog and the Metal Catman, their technological prowess clashing with the villains' metallic might. Starfire and Superboy soared into the air, engaging the Birdman and the Flyman in a chaotic aerial battle. Beast Boy, transforming into a variety of animals, clashed with the Panda Power Ranger, their strength and agility evenly matched. Raven, her dark energy swirling, confronted the evil YouTuber, their shadow and telekinetic powers clashing in a mesmerizing display. Aqualad and Bumblebee worked as a team, containing the Ice Kroger Bagger and the Fire Goodwill attendant. The theater became a battleground, the sounds of combat echoing through the empty seats. The villains, empowered by the Curator's control, fought with renewed ferocity. The Titans and their allies, however, fought with determination, their teamwork and skills honed through years of experience. The Curator watched from the shadows, his expression unreadable, his control over the villains absolute. He was a conductor, orchestrating a symphony of chaos. "This is just the beginning," he whispered, his voice laced with anticipation. The grand finale is yet to come.
Free handouts. I don't think he was homeless. Aaron was here. Yeah, that boss is an elf,
And
right?
make
Well, look, wait, are they throwing
it
those hot dogs?
a great story.
Wait,
Wait, I spelled story wrong.
giving away one hot dog. They're throwing like 20 hot dogs away. All right, why are the hot dogs?
Best
This is
one yet.
Business has been slow. We can't sell any old hot dogs.
you could have given away to the homeless.
Work on your skills, Gemini. Work on your skills, Gemini.
Giving away old. They're not gonna.
The theater pulsed with chaotic energy. The Curator, a shadowy maestro, watched his exhibits clash with the heroes, a twisted smile hidden behind his blank mask. He raised a hand, and the stage floor began to tremble, revealing a hidden mechanism. The captured villains, their eyes glowing with a hypnotic light, fought with a renewed ferocity, their movements almost robotic, their attacks perfectly synchronized. Robin, dodging a flurry of ice shards from the snow cheerleader, noticed the subtle shift in the villain's behavior. "They're not just fighting," he yelled, his voice cutting through the din. "They're being controlled." Batgirl, grappling with the pencil goblin, nodded. He's amplified their powers, made them extensions of himself. The Curator's control intensified. The stage lights flickered, casting long, distorted shadows that danced across the theater. The villain's attacks became more precise, more devastating. The Pop-Tart Powerpuff Girl, now radiating an almost blinding sugary aura, unleashed a wave of sticky, explosive frosting that threatened to engulf Starfire and Superboy. The Duck Knight, his lance crackling with energy, moved with lightning speed, his attacks overwhelming Cyborg and Blue Beetle. Raven, battling the evil YouTuber, felt a surge of dark energy emanating from the Curator. He's channeling their powers through himself, she realized, her voice laced with dread. We need to disrupt his connection. Aqualad, his water manipulation skills amplified by the humid air of the theater, created a tidal wave that crashed against the Ice Kroger Bagger and the Fire Goodwill attendant, momentarily disrupting their fiery and icy attacks. Bumblebee, using her sonic blasts, created a deafening wave of sound, disorienting the Birdman and the Flyman. Kid Flash, using his super speed, zipped around the stage, attempting to create chaos and disrupt the Curator's concentration. He noticed a series of wires and conduits running along the stage floor, leading to a central control panel. "He's plugged into the theater's systems," he yelled, his voice echoing through the chaos. Robin, seizing the opportunity, threw a series of explosive birdarangs at the control panel, causing it to spark and smoke. The Curator recoiled, his control over the villains wavering. The hypnotic glow in their eyes flickered and dimmed. "No!" he roared, his voice filled with rage. "You dare interfere with my masterpiece?"
Yeah.
He raised his hands, and the stage floor began to rise, revealing a massive, intricate machine beneath. The machine pulsed with energy, its gears and cogs whirring and clicking. "Behold," the Curator declared, his voice filled with maniacal pride, "the culmination of my collection." The machine unfolded, revealing a giant holographic projector. It displayed a swirling vortex of energy, a portal to another dimension. "I will bring the entire universe into my collection," the Curator shouted. Superboy, seeing the portal, realized the gravity of the situation. "We have to stop him," he yelled, his voice filled with urgency. The Titans and their allies launched a coordinated assault, their combined powers converging on the Curator and his machine. Starfire unleashed a supernova of starbolts, attempting to overload the machine's energy core. Cyborg and Blue Beetle fired a barrage of sonic and energy blasts, targeting the control panel. Raven, her dark energy swirling, attempted to disrupt the portal's energy flow. Robin, using his agility and martial arts skills, fought his way through the remaining villains, his eyes fixed on the Curator. He knew that the Curator was the key to stopping the chaos. He reached the curator, his eyes narrowed with determination. "Your collection ends here," he declared. The curator, his mask now cracked and distorted, lunged at Robin, his hands crackling with energy. They engaged in a fierce hand-to-hand combat, their skills evenly matched. As they fought, the machine began to overload, its energy core glowing brighter and brighter. The portal swirled and pulsed, threatening to unleash a wave of chaotic energy. Robin, realizing the imminent danger, used his momentum to throw the curator into the machine's control panel. The impact caused a massive surge of energy, overloading the machine's systems. The portal collapsed, the swirling vortex of energy imploding in a blinding flash of light. The machine exploded, sending a shockwave through the theater. When the dust settled, the curator lay unconscious amidst the wreckage of his machine. The villains, freed from his control, stood dazed and confused. The Titans and their allies, exhausted but victorious, stood together, their eyes filled with relief and triumph. They had stopped the curator, prevented him from unleashing his chaotic collection upon the universe. "We did it," Starfire said, her voice filled with relief. "We stopped him," Robin confirmed, his voice filled with pride. "And we did it together," Batgirl added, her voice filled with camaraderie. The Titans and their allies had faced a formidable foe, a collector of chaos, but they had emerged victorious, their teamwork and determination proving stronger than any collection of villains. They knew that the universe would always present new challenges, but they were ready to face them, together.
Money has already been donated.
The end.
So this was all your idea?
Great
No. Why are you lying? This guy is an elf.
story.
Oh my gosh.
Of course, this was all my idea.
No, it wasn't.
I mean, I really enjoy helping.
Thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I tried to weave together all the elements you introduced, escalate the stakes, and deliver a satisfying conclusion. I appreciate the feedback.
You're welcome. Now, in this story, guys, make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe, and this is the longest Gemini video ever. When I combine with the other one, I already edited already. So, guys, please make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Thanks for 62 subscribers. And let me tell you, I got these. What's that called? Harry Potter gummies from Walmart. They're pretty good. I liked them. I rated them a 7 out of 10. Pretty good. I look forward to getting more of those one day. They're pretty good though. Yesterday, me and mom and brother had fun out. I do want to say, guys, always enjoy your family while you can, because there'll be days when family are super busy and same with friends. So please try, you know, to enjoy your family, guys. Okay. Have a good day, y'all. Happy Tuesday. Bye bye.